And Thursdays at this time, we take some time to focus on Shelton. And in studio with us today is Shelton's Fire Marshal, is also Deputy Chief for Central Mason Fire and EMS. It's Mike Patti. Good morning, sir.
Hey guys, how are you?
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
We have been having some interesting weather. It was really hot. Now we got clouds, maybe thunderstorms tomorrow.
Yeah, I understand that.
We're not going to see any sort of rain that would soak the ground enough to protect us a little bit, but what are you seeing out there?
Well, it's been really weird. The wildland fire, the brush fire season started on us very early this year. Normally we don't start seeing an activity increase in brush fires until mid-June anyway, and we started seeing brush fire activity as early as in April this year. We've already had some significant brush fires in Mason County as well as all over western Washington. So even DNR has increased their activity earlier this year than normal. They've added some staff this year in anticipation of a rough wildfire season in western Washington. So everybody's kind of anticipating the first half of the summer anyway being pretty busy for us. They're saying that probably mid to later part of summer things should level out a little bit. It's an El Nino versus El Nina thing that I don't really understand it, but for those weather geeks out there who do, there's supposed to be a definite climate change which is supposed to settle things down for us later in the summer.
Oh, okay.
So we're anticipating that.
Well, that can be good news then.
I guess.
Yeah.
I'm hoping so, because last year we just got the heck beat out of us, and we're kind of hoping that things settle down a little bit this year.
But everybody needs to really be still aware that there's still a danger out there.
Right. Last year showed us that western Washington is real ripe for bad wildfire seasons. We've already seen some real bad events already this year, so we don't want a repeat of last year.
When it comes to response times, I know that the fire districts around here are most all volunteer driven. If you notice a weather pattern coming in or something that you think on the horizon could likely be a scenario, will the volunteers come and stay at the firehouse more often than normal?
That's a good question. The volunteers that will, remembering that they have their own lives and they have jobs that they have to do. They have vacations planned or whatever, but a lot of times what we will do is we'll beef up our response strategies to where we'll add mutual aid, automatic aid requests from different departments as well. So what normally we would have one department or two departments responding to initially on a first alarm, we may have 3 or 4 departments responding to, just to increase our staffing on that first alarm. So our volunteer responses, excuse me, just because of training and the time requirements are getting smaller and smaller every year.
Yeah.
So we have to build that up by whatever we can. If that means adding more responses from different fire departments, so be it. We had a fire on Saturday. We had a fairly significant wildland fire in the north part of our district. And about 7 minutes later, we had a structure fire on the south end of the city, which made staffing for both those fires relatively hard.
Yeah.
So, and those kind of things are happening more and more and more for us.
There are 18 fire districts in Mason County?
Well, there's 18. There's Fire District 18. I don't know. I can't give you a number off the top of our head because some district numbers don't exist anymore because of consolidations. But yeah, there's quite a few fire districts and then the one city fire department.
And everybody is able to communicate freely between the districts and show up if they need help.
Correct. We have a countywide mutual aid agreement, and some departments already have an automatic aid agreement where they're dispatched automatically on a first alarm with some departments.
At what point does the county have to turn it over to, say, DNR? At a certain size of the fire?
Well, DNR will respond automatically with us outside the city. And matter of fact, in places inside the city, we have a response agreement with DNR. And we're all free to call DNR anytime we need to for that resource. And everybody comes running when we ask for help anyway, as well as we go out to help anybody else. It's just that type of cooperation in Mason County.
How quickly could you get a crew out of Mason County to another situation?
Well, there again, it depends on how busy we are. If we're out on other calls, if our staffing is thin. Remember that speaking for Central Mason, we have 3 career stations. We have a total of 11 stations, but only 3 are staffed 24/7 by our career people. And a lot of times, even during the day, all 3 of those stations are out on alarms. And we have to do what we call a staff callback to bring off-duty people back, which may or may not produce staffing. So if we're down on people, to get people to come back, get in uniform and take the rigs out, that'll reduce our response times. If we're sent out to Thurston County, if we're sent to, for example, if Station 8 here in the city has to go to Belfair, it's all time and distance driven.
The other thing too, I remember you telling me, is that more often these calls have turned into medic calls. So you guys will be on scene, but working in a medical capacity.
Right. We always, on a structure fire response, we always set it up to where the engine will respond, as well as one of our medic units will always respond, just in case somebody gets hurt. In the city, we're also fortunate to have Mason County Medic 1 who will respond and to assist us. So.
And it's getting towards that time of year. Do you want to speak to us or remind people about fireworks?
Fireworks. Yeah, my favorite subject. Of course, we all remember that in the city, fireworks, to discharge fireworks, to set them off is no longer allowed for the last couple of years. And we no longer have fireworks stands in the city. We have fireworks stands. We've seen fireworks stands set up right outside the city, usually right across the street from the city limits. And they'll sell them, and you can discharge them outside the city limits. And those hours are the same as the state requirements, usually about starting noon on the 28th of June. And those hours will be from noon on the 28th till about 11 o'clock that night, and then from 9 a.m. till 11 o'clock every day thereafter through July 5th. And again, that's outside the city limits of Shelton.
Okay.
Central Mason Fire and EMS, also Shelton Fire Marshal Mike Patti on the air with us during our Focus on Shelton. I'm sure we'll get you in before the 4th too, so another reminder on these fireworks. And if there's any news that you need to put out, you call us, but call us anytime.
I appreciate it. Thanks very much.
All right, Mike Patti, thank you. 8:56 at iFiber One News Radio.
ABC Entertainment News. Here's Jason Nathanson.
The Stars